The year was 1958, and Mao Zedong wanted to transfer China from an agricultural society to an industrial economy, which led to the Great Leap Forward.
The Great Leap Forward was a campaign by the Communist Party led by Mao Zedong to turn China into a primarily industrial society.
What Mao Zedong thought was going to be a success turned into a great disaster. In 1959 to 1961, the Great Leap Forward turned into one of the largest famines in human history.
During that time period, over 14 million people died from starvation, 2.5 million died from torture, but overall about 30 million people died in ways related to famine. In total, about 45 million people died.
They had several methods of killing the Chinese citizens. They had mass killings, which is where they killed many people at once. They had direct killings, where they had exactly who they wanted to kill in mind and executed them.
Many people also died of torture. For example, beatings. Sometimes people were even forced to commit suicide in public places. Many people were also accused of being witches. Those who were accused were killed in what was known as witch hunts. The last and most common reason for death was starvation.
The mass killings occurred in 4 periods. The first period was the Red Terror. It occurred from August to December of 1966. During this time, Mao said, "If good people beat bad people, it serves them right. If bad people beat good people, the good people achieve glory. If good people beat good people, it's a misunderstanding. Without beatings, you do not get acquainted, and then no longer need to beat them."
Also, in 1966, Mao created his Little Red Book, which had many sayings that people commonly engaged in. During this time, the Red Guards became involved. They were supporters of Mao's beliefs. The first instance of educators being killed was in 1966 by the Red Guards. The homes of educators were broken into and ransacked. 2.3 million books, 3.3 million paintings, art objects, and pieces of furniture were burned by the Red Guards.
$11,979 teachers from middle and elementary schools were beaten to purify their rankings. 266 died from the beatings or committed suicide afterwards. 108 were permanently disabled, and 5,668 were sent to the countryside to perform labor.
The second period of mass killings was all-round civil war, which was from January to December of 1967. The first mass killing during this time was on unarmed civilians, and they used machine guns and submachine guns. It was 2 days of violent encounters, and 26 were killed. 74 were injured. That was just the start, though. After that, there were several more killings.
The third period of mass killings was for and by the new organs of power. It was from 1968 to 1971. In this period, they tried to find all the people who disagreed with the idea of communism and kill them.
Also, in the third period, one of the biggest witch hunt cases was the Inner Mongolia's People Revolution Party. Throughout Inner Mongolia, cases of torture chamber, illegal courts, and prisons appeared. 346,000 were framed and accused. There were many other events that helped Mao to get rid of the people that were against him, and that helped to lead to the fourth period of mass killings.
The fourth period was named Endless Killing. It was from 1972 to 1977. During this time, China dealt with many internal problems. Mao thought that the military had too much power throughout China, which led to the attack on Sudan. On September 9th, 1976, Mao Zedong died of a heart attack, and even though there was less killings after, it left China more weak and isolated.
The Cultural Revolution had many impacts on China, short-term and long-term. In almost every aspect, China got weaker. Economic growth was slowed, causing China to become more poor. There was decline in the capacity of government to deliver goods because of their isolation. Some of the long-term effects were gaps in generations because of the death that had occurred. The laws also went into danger because of the growth in corruption and loss of legitimacy.
This was a major setback for China and took them a long time to recover